into play, but you wouldn't expect Philadelphia to try to have a 96-second possession to get this last score in before the quarter ends.
The 4-3 lead, Portland represented the one time the Western Conference has had a lead over the East in their matchup against Boston when they took the 1-0 lead at the start of the game, but it was all Boston after that. So
a lot of steps there after the catch from Glazer, but he's doing good work getting open right now. And you can see that Philadelphia pulled over some of their defensive players onto this line. That's usually what they do after they get broken.
Right in the hands of Shields. Bryant, and a bobble from Glazer. He slipped.
Turf Monster took him down.
Right away, they're looking for Davis. It'll carry all the way into the end zone. And just like that.
One break, which was a 2-minute point, 2-minute 20-second point, followed by a 30-second point. So that second break that they had some of their defensive players out there for was a quick turnover, and now they have to decide which of their offensive players they want to put back on the field. And this sort of really quick attack is exactly what we've seen from the Stags all season long, whether it's been McGinn on the trigger or any number of other players. They take their furthest downfield player, push him down the field into the end zone, and if the shot's there, they almost invariably take it.
5-3 the score now, 1:05 left to go here in the first. You saw a couple of Portland fans made the trek. They went to Boston, if you remember. They had quite the showing actually in Boston, so why not come to Philadelphia too?
They had some planned cheers going on. They were heckling the refs pretty well.
They were louder than the Boston fans.
I really enjoyed their presence at that game.
So I'm glad they came out to Philadelphia tonight too.
And here we've basically got Philadelphia's starting offensive line back on the field. They've got Radams and Meta out there. So it looks like that means they're taking Arcata off the field.
Bear's also off, it looks like.
Yeah.
Katzenbach out there, who reeled in the pull. Randolph alone on the far side of the fields. Sickles, low, very close to being knocked down by Sam Frainer.
That was a good opportunity for Portland. He had good vision to get there, but he could have committed to it and actually gotten that block.
And that goes right through
he was turning
hands and maybe the legs, too.
He was turning away from that disc before it was in his hands. If you're going to be doing that, you have to be a much more experienced player than he is at this point in his career. Portland with 30 seconds to score.
Bouy's got his first touch. Let's see if Portland tries to use the rest of this clock as Monashagan goes up, grabs that one.
That would be their best bet. They're down to about 15 seconds now, and if they can sort of blank this clock by the time they score, they'll be in perfect spot.
Rice across the field. No one's there, but it's going to kill off a lot of the clock.
Well, it's out of bounds, so they'll stop it here. Philadelphia will have 5 seconds to get back down the field. I'm really not sure what he was thinking with that cross-field pass. There was no one there.
Portland will double team. Haronet's got it at the center of the field. One pass to Pana. Brandolph. Brandolph got it off. Couple of Philly players back. It'll hang. Actually, no, they're waving it off. Meta made the catch. But Portland will hold on to the 5-3 lead. We've got one in the books here in the championship. And the Western Conference champs, the Stags, on top of the Spinners. Don't go anywhere. This is already an exciting one.
That was an incredible game to watch.
It was a huge loss.
I just decided to launch and try to get it. I knew if I went up early enough, I could get it.
And all of a sudden, there are feet kind of above heads.
Does it all come back to this loss? Does it all come back to this play?
If I had 4 hands, I would put all 4 hands on it.
It was up the other line. They had to deliver.
Boston kept doing this thing that you didn't think was possible.
Canterbury, the official apparel supplier to Major League Ultimate. Dress like a pro. Visit www.canterburyus.com, the destination for all your team's custom uniforms and athletic apparel needs. Canterbury, proud partner of Major League Ultimate, committed to the game. Do you have a team trip or corporate outing coming up? If so, charter a private bus, a minibus, or party bus from busrental.com, a U.S. Coachways company. Bus travel is one of the safest, greenest, and most affordable ways to get your group to an event. If you're going with a group, trust busrental.com. Enter coupon code MLUBUS and get additional savings and VIP treatment. Innova is proud to support Major League Ultimate and its incredible athletes. As the official disc of the MLU, the Innova Pulsar has quickly become the disc of choice at Ultimate's highest level. Visit innovadiscs.com to find a dealer near you. Back here at the MLU Championship, Jeff Poster, Dusty Rhodes, and we're through one. It's 5-3. The Stags on top of the Spinners.
There's a couple things so far. It started off really well for the Spinners, not so well for the Stags. Spinners came into the game with a lot of energy, got an early break right on the first point, and attacked Cody Bjorklund's ability to go underneath and get those easy discs on their first cuts. And after that, the Stags sort of settled in, got their legs under them, started to get really excited about playing out here and starting to make their own defensive plays. So we saw that Radams beat Woodside deep once, but Woodside also helped over top and got a block already. If you're going to get beat once, get one block, that's a good start for your defensive leader. And then the thing that Portland has to be thinking about after that first quarter, well, maybe they'll get this put out of their heads early, is that they could be up 6-3 right now. They had an in-zone possession with a couple of seconds left, and they threw it literally to no one. If you throw it up in a crowd, you have an opportunity. If you throw it up out the sideline, there's no opportunity for you even to get a bounce, tip goal, a guy skying three guys by chance. You have to give your players an opportunity. If they look back at the end of this game and the Stags lose by one, it's going to come back to that opportunity at the end of the first quarter. Getting into the second bit here, I'm really excited to see how the rest of this game goes. Now they've got their pregame sort of jitters out, their early game jitters, as well as that early surge of energy that you get starting into this big game.
I saw Matt Melius. He was pretty happy about the results at the end of the first quarter.
I'm not sure if he was just happy about the results or if he was just happy about that beard. I mean, he has put in some serious work to create that.
Looks good. And you saw Daryl Stanley, too, talking to his MVP, Billy Sickles, trying to keep his head where it needs to be. And he heads back out on the field with the rest of the Philadelphia offense. You see right there on your screen. Again, Trey Katzenbach out there, no Dave Bear.
Well, the thing with Katzenbach, and this isn't to slight Dave Bear in any way, is that Katzenbach can be relied upon simply to catch the disc and throw completions. And in a game like this where the opponent is going after you, you've made a couple errors, you want somebody steady out there that you can simply rely on to make your offense run. And as you can see in the back here, the fans for the Philadelphia Spinners are out here in force. They're waiting in line for the beer right now. And you saw that crowd shot earlier. That crowd is still filling out in the stadium. There are still folks coming in because we're always on ultimate time when it comes to these games.
Exactly.
I'm excited to hear all of the rest of this game go on. There's nothing quite like it.
Here we go. Start of the second quarter. Portland now pulling left to right. This one's going to come down into Brandolph's hands.
You see on this defensive point, they've got Adamson in as that sort of over-the-top deep help rather than Woodsides. They're using a little bit of a rotation.
Katzenbach, Scott was looking for his flick. Not there. Drops back for Panna. Michael Panna has been he's been on the team every season, but first year playing full-time with the offense, and it's been a great addition to that offensive line. As Sickles rips one down for Hiranet. Nick will just have to watch this one float in the end zone, catch up to it, and hold on for the score, which he does. It's 5-4 now, Portland.
That's excellent work there. Sickles is a threat both going deep, and as you can see there, throwing deep. And while Hiranet doesn't generally cut into the end zone like that, a situation where McGinn sort of plays underneath him so far that all Sickles has to do is put the disc out on a line and trust that Hiranet's speed and focus is going to come down with a goal. You can't leave him that open. He's too good a player to poach 5, 6, 7 yards underneath because you think he's just going to come back under to the disc.
Yeah, Portland just learned the hard way. You might not see Nick make those cuts, but they're there, and he can do it.
And just like most players in Ultimate, he's filled a number of different positions over the course of his career. He's got so much speed. As we see the field just open up here, McGinn is trailing by so much. He has no opportunity to catch up to this disc. You've got to put more pressure on it in order to challenge these Spinners as the game goes on. And now we're going to get a midfield pull here from the Spinners. when the Stags came out and played against the Boston Whitecaps, they had a lot of issues with the midfield pull. They had some early turnovers. They would just sort of throw it right into the defense, had a couple drops. This could be a telling moment for the Portland Stags.
Pretty good one from Esser. Gets it to roll out the back. It's picked up. Trying to get out quickly. Bjorklund's got it. Swings it across to Hancock.
And Hancock's defender was biting into that lane to take away Bjorklund's big huck.
Davis sends one deep. Purston, he can catch up to it. It's blocked away by Bryant, though.
And you saw the line that Purston took on it. He thought he was going to make sure he got up over Bryant rather than Bryant getting the block there. Bryant did a good job to get it, but we kind of expected that Purston would end up with the disc.
We're going to get a foul on the throw, it looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, but here we go again, the block by Bryant.
Bryant got up nice and early, slowed down in the way of Purston so that Purston couldn't get a totally clean run at it.
Hayes is getting this back. Very fortunate break here for Portland.
It's a pretty clear foul, though. He did get 10 extra yards on it as well.
Gets it up to Hancock. Double teamed from Patel and Bryant. Sends a Scuba over the double team to Purston.
Good communication there from the resets for the Stags.
Cable looks deep for Hayes, and that's even too high for Ralphie Hayes.
Well, the thing was, he didn't have to go up that early. He could have run that out a little bit. He chose to go up extra early, and we've seen him make that play before, but he could have just run it out and made the easy play. This is that adrenaline still coursing through your veins from early on in the game. Quick pickup there from Bryant. Gets the disc moving over to Patel.
Bryant's been a great addition as well for Philadelphia this season. Been kind of a calming force on that defensive line. He has it again. Him and Patel just playing catch right now.
Well, the Stags are doing a really good job sort of bracketing and talking about a couple switches here and also bodying and taking away the open lane for the spinners.
Casey got knocked down as he made the catch, continues it forward to McCutcheon. Colton elevates, grabs that one.
Nice toss there for McCutcheon.
McCutcheon drops back for Esser as Purston comes on to him. Bryant very close to the ground, but manages to keep it up. Colton again. Colton looking to strike to the end zone for Casey, and Casey with the added layout for style, I think. Well, he's got it.
He certainly does have a lot of style. You can tell anybody who's got their hair like that likes to be watched, likes to be the sort of the center of attention. And you would expect that from most Ultimate players, but he made the layout there. He had already beaten Bjorklund by a lot. I don't think Cody thought the throw was going to come up at the angle that it did. I don't think that they realized that that's a total foul. Of course it's coming back. There's no option there. That has to come back. But here we see he's so beat, and Bjorklund's looking back like, why isn't that throw challenged more? Why did that around get off? As you see the mark there, Jared Fitzpatrick, he's about 6'4", 6'5", and we're seeing Gabe Colton get the breakout around him. That's a failure of the mark. He has to put more pressure on it, make that disc come out of bounds, and then arc back in. That'll give Bjorklund a shot to get the block, but Bjorklund was still beat to that side. And now the spinners are going for another midfield pull. They're trying to put this pressure on the Stags right here and see if they have an answer right away.
Well, you said it in our pregame talks with both Matt Glazer and Timmy Purston that expected both teams would be up, both teams would be down. We should see a back-and-forth game, and we're tied up again here at 5. Philadelphia looking to take the lead back. Another good midfield pull, this time from Leon Chow.
It's pretty close to the end zone, out of the back there, but he did keep it in.
Bjorklund's got it against Chow. Cody gets him to break his ankles, knocks down Chow.
It was a good double team there from Bloodgood, though, to stop that huck from coming off. That's one of the great reasons.
And that's a Callahan! That's a Callahan! Right in the MLU Championship, Ethan Peck nearly won the Rookie of the Year, but he comes up big here in the 2016 MLU Championship. He's got a Callahan off the midfield pull. Just stayed enough in the end zone. And Philadelphia retakes the lead, and they're getting the disc back.
And at this point, that is definitely the first Callahan in championship play. Yep. I'm 99% sure that's the first Callahan in the playoffs. And Jensen looked over to see where McGinn was, and Peck saw that, and then he took the acceleration. Jensen paused too long on that play. Most of the reason that we've seen Peck out on defense is for his throws after the turnover happens. Here, instead, he's creating the turnover and making that play in the back of the end zone. That's fantastic for the Spinners. They're right back ahead of this game. They're in the driver's seat now.
Portland's got to find a way to calm down as They had the momentum at the end of the first quarter, did not get that goal that they probably could have. And now they're trailing 6-5,
Right.
and they have to pull.
And had they found a way to get that goal at the end of the first, they'd be tied right now rather than down 1 and pulling. Of course, you never know what could happen. You remove one thing, all the chain of events changes.
We could
people's
see
attitudes.
4 more Callahans before the night is
anything
over.
could
You
happen
never
tonight.
know.
I like the way this game is going early.
Topher Davis with the pull right to left. And there's Bear back out there. Right up to Hiranet.
Working out of a side stack. Now they're isolating Brandolph.
Randolph's got it. Sees Radams cutting across the field as Pana comes under. Get it to him.
Good patience right now from Philadelphia, but they got to make sure they don't get too confident as throwers and rely on those resets late in stall counts.
Sickles looking to get it around. He finds Pana, who separates himself from the defense of Penner. And then a nice catch by Brandolph.
That tip
Sickles.
catch, that's the sort of game-changing play that can keep the spinners ahead here.
Sickles has got it. Pana. Drop back. There's Glazer.
Nice inside break from Pana across to Glazer. Another inside break from Hiranet to Brandolph. This is looking
Philadelphia.
easy for the spinners right
Just
now.
moving as Brandolph sends a scuba, and it's D'd up by Portland.
Just as you say it's looking easy, Brandolph gets he's feeling his oats there a little too much.
Yeah.
Takes the scuba over traffic, and this is where the Portland height comes into play. They get their arms up, get the block, and now they can get back upfield and get that break back.
McGinn's got it. Sees Wilt Shaw coming under. Drops it back for Davis instead. McGinn again. You can hear the roar of the crowd right behind us here as Woodside gets the catch at midfield.
Portland really should just work to maintain this. Stay in control on offense right now.
Supnick threw it. I don't know why Adamson didn't try to make a catch there. I know he might
Yeah.
not have been the original intended target, but he could have caught it.
And it's one of the things that you tell ultimate players all the time. If you can catch it,
Just
make
catch
the
it.
catch.
Just
You
catch
have to be certain that it's for somebody else to look that pass off, especially with the long arms like Adamson has.
Yeah. So Philadelphia will get it back right on their own end zone line. Brandolph to Pana. Pana goes low and finds Radams. Glazer taken off. Radams
Yeah.
thought about it.
Radams is a big man, not a thrower. He's not going to take that look to Glazer.
Brandolph continues to swing along to Bear. Hiranet was coming under.
This point's been over 2 minutes right now. This is a long one for Philadelphia's offense. That's one of the risks after getting to Callahan. You got to rely on your offense to be able to score quickly.
Brandolph swings it all the way around. Pana's there.
Ooh, that's a tight little window to throw through. You can see both teams are slowing down a
Tired.
little bit right now.
Brandolph, though, still with some legs coming in. And again, Portland denies them the end zone.
That was the second
Supnick.
questionable throw into the end zone, the second questionable shot, and the second time that height was the difference for the Stags. And it looks like the Stags are going to take this timeout, put some new players on the field. We'll see where they go from there.
Danny Correll using his first timeout. As you said, Dusty, a very long point. And take a look at the tip. But Brandolph getting a little too maybe thinking he's got that throw.
Yeah, well, I mean, he does have
does
that
have it.
throw,
I'm not
but
saying
it's
he
just he
doesn't.
wasn't taking control of the situation and recognizing what was in the way there.
We'll step away here in the Portland timeout and come back, see if the Stags can tie it up. Back here at Franklin Field, inside the Portland huddle, as their offense gets ready to come back out onto the field out of the timeout. See Bjorklund, Hayes. Well, Minor-Shagan is in that huddle. He's going to come out, it looks like.
Well, he's an incredibly reliable offensive player. He's one of the guys that helps their defense out and maintains possession. I think he's only thrown 2 incompletions over the regular season, over about 40 passes, 38 passes, somewhere around there. And he also managed to throw double-digit assists out of that. So his ability to just maintain possession, and as well as being so he's 55 for 57, 96% with 15 assists. 11 blocks, 4 goals. So he's a
Pretty good.
reliable offensive player. And when we got to talk to him yesterday, it was very clear that he was sort of relishing the opportunity to get out here and challenge these players on defense. But I got the general sense from him that he's in control. You know what I mean? We see a shot
Former
of
spinner
Ian McClellan here cheering him on. We're zooming out to see the rest of the crowd here. I love what we're seeing here. And as you were saying, the way this press box is set up, we're sort of over top of the crowd.
Yeah, it's an interesting setup.
You can feel the sound from underneath us coming through. It's fantastic so far.
When you see the crowd shots, just think up.
Right,
and that's where we are.
We're up above. I love the view we get up from up here as well.
Very cool. Started off, and there's Meinershagen on cue, making the catch from Jensen. I'm looking to go back to him, but
just as
talked
we were
about him too much. His third incompletion.
Just as we were singing his praises.
Curse of the announcer. Esser looking for his man Casey in the end zone. Hayes coming over. Casey gets to it first, and Philadelphia's got a 2-goal lead. And Portland wastes a timeout effectively.
Not only did they waste a timeout there, they ended up giving up an opportunity to have a break goal with their offense on that the second throw turnover. And then the connection between Esser and Casey, those two both have a certain trust in each other as receivers. They're just those players that if you put the disc up near them, they're most likely going to get up there first. You saw Topher Davis trying to take a run at it from the backside, but he wasn't able to get there. Casey went up nice and early, and now the Spinners are just taking it to the Stags a little bit in the first half. That was a 3-minute point, and there was a timeout in between, but that puts the Spinners back ahead in terms of sort of the way that they're pressuring this team. That was their offense back out there for a long time. The Stags put their offense out, and now the offense has to stay back on the field for the Stags. Spinners are pulling down to them. 4 minutes to go in this first half. We'll see how this point goes.
Tyler Cable reels in the pull.
Nice cut in the lane there from Raffy Hayes.
Hayes trying to get around Patrick Lindsay. First time we've called his name tonight.
Well, I did mention Lindsay when he fell over on a cut earlier, but that's not the same.
Going for Purston into the end zone. Can Purston catch out? No, he lays out just short of the disc.
And that's very similar to an overthrow that we saw from Bjorklund to Purston in the Whitecaps game, where it was just maybe a foot too far.
They had a lot of trouble connecting early on in that game, the two of them.
Like with seeing Bjorklund's first deep look be this late in the game, maybe he's trying to overthrow it a little bit, do too much for his team.
Tom O'Connor's got it. Drops back for Chow. Chow across to Greg Martin. Martin was another guy who was questionable coming into this game with a knee injury. Good to see him out there.
Purston versus Martin is a very athletic matchup downfield. We'll see what effect they have right now.
Chow. Excuse me, that's Damiano. Gets it back from Chow.
Yep.
Connor again.
Portland's communicating very well on the cuts underneath.
Bjorklund gets a block off the throw from Martin. He went right to Cody's hand.
That was a big hand block. It was almost like Martin didn't see him at all and was just trying to put that pass through.
Cable's got it. Cable. Swing around. Melius.
Oh, great cut from Raffy Hayes, but Cable was just unable to deliver that inside. Chow got the hand block. Cable's go-to throw tends to be his outside high flick, and he chose to throw the inside there instead.
Purston causes enough to get Damiano to bobble it, but we do have a call against Purston from Jamie Rhodes.
Doesn't seem like Purston entirely agrees with that. We're going to get a little ref discussion here.
And now it's going to be Portland's disc. You see the play there again.
Yeah, I think that's a good overrule. Unfortunately, Jamie got the call wrong. We'll have to talk to him about that after the game. It was a good block from Purston on the underneath cut there from Damiano. It's good to see Purston give an effort on the defensive side. That's one of the things that sort of sets the Stags apart, is their energy on defense for their O-line.
Hancock gets it up to McGinn. McGinn was looking for Cable. McGinn again. Hancock. They're leaving him alone for a few minutes. He's got nowhere to go, though. Good downfield defense. Now Hayes across the field and into the end zone. It is a score for Tyler Cable. That's their first score of the second quarter. But they got to feel a sense of relief after that.
Well, I mean, that was a 8-minute and 24-second drought for the Stags just in this quarter, and that actually goes back with a minute and 5 seconds back into the quarter before that. But just as you said, sort of taking the cap off the goal, so to speak, making sure they could actually clear the moat and get into the end zone. As we see this swing pass all the way across the field for the goal, you can see that Damiano thought he was going to have possibly a bid on that underneath, but the disc got there just fast enough. And now we're going to see the Stags with their midfield pull here, trying to get one more break, trying to score one more goal going into halftime. It's a one-goal game right now, so it's not out of hand for either team. If Philadelphia can get into the halftime with a 2-goal lead, they'd be really happy. So if they could theoretically, again, 96-second point, if they can score taking the full 96 seconds, that's sort of their best option. They'll go into it with a 2-goal lead. The worst option for them is to have a turnover and give Portland a chance to score right after that.
Or Portland Callahan.
Well, I wasn't even thinking about that. I like the way you're thinking, though.
You're saying worst option.
I always forget about that Callahan, but the pull from Portland here on the midfield just isn't enough to pressure them all the way in the end zone.
Good stop from Bear. Only went about 5 yards deep. Hiernet's got it.
And that's Radham's working against Woodside. Now Hiernet's uncovered.
Into his hands. Nice catch by Hiernet against Frainer.
Himalaya Meta pulled 2 defenders there, and then Glazer popped open underneath. Doing good work downfield for the Spinners.
Meta against Bowie. And bumping chests a little bit.
Yeah, a little bump on the mark there.
So Meta will get 10 more yards with 1 minute exactly. And he didn't wait for it to be whistled in.
He's going to lose those 10 yards now.
So right back where we started.
Well, I guess not. But
nope.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Yeah. Just making sure. Because sometimes the ref points to the wrong spot, but he went in before the whistle happened. So he loses the 10 yards there on a delay of game.
Glazer's got it. I see Sickles headed towards the end zone.
Excellent mark there.
Davis is poaching off of him a little bit. Meta's got it again against Bowie. Bear trying to strike. And
nice.
Bowie gets a hand block
from Bowie.
They've got
It's another good
seconds.
mark. And this is exactly what Portland needs. They've got 35 seconds to score here, and they need to make sure they get this goal and get out without giving Philadelphia another legitimate shot.
I'm surprised they're not using their last timeout to get their offense out.
Well, but that would allow Philadelphia to put a whole new host of players in there as well. Maybe they see something here that they really like to take advantage of.
20 seconds, Woodside, midfield on the other side, and he throws right into the defense of Sickles, coming off of Davis, returning the poaching favor. Now, Sickles, he throws it right into Woodside's hands.
10 seconds left.
You've got to send somebody deep.
The problem is Woodside's all the way down here, and that was way too early.
Yep. And it's teed up by Hiernet. Hiernet sends it to Radams, but Radams tries to tip it back to Glazer and maybe keep it alive in the air, but that's where the first half will come to a close.
The last couple of possessions there, that was fast and furious. Both teams were really trying to get out with that last goal. The Stags had their opportunity, but they were relying too much on Woodside as a thrower. However, he got that turnover back for his team, hustled back down to the end of the field, and did what he could to make sure the Stags are only going into half with a 1-point deficit.
That's it. Halftime here. We got 2 in the books, 2 more to go. It's 7-6. The Spinners on top of the Stags.
The team dynamic is just to have as much fun as possible.
It's an experience, man. You turn around and you look and there's this big giant animal running towards you.
When I first started commentating, it was kind of tough for me because it's like, well, I can be out there too. I can play with these guys. Well, why am I up here in the booth?
Jeff Grant he's a freaking monster. He can sort of just do it all, you know?
A few of my students were like, we saw you on the bus. I was like, I don't ride the bus. No, you were on the side of the bus.
That was an incredible game to watch.
It was a huge loss.
I just decided to launch and try to get it. I knew if I went out early enough, I could get it.
And all of a sudden, there are feet kind of above heads.
Does it all come back to this loss? Does it all come back to this play?
If I had 4 hands, I would put all 4 hands on it.
It was up the O-line. They had to deliver.
Boston kept doing this thing that you didn't think was possible.
Back here at Franklin Field, 7-6 the score. The Spinners over the Stags. Jeff Poster, Dusty Rhodes here on our MLU Live broadcast of the 2016 championship. And Spinners started off. The Stags came back in the first, and then going into the second, it was all Philadelphia outscoring Portland 4-1.
Yeah, that was a wild second quarter for the Spinners. They managed to pull ahead of the Stags. They managed to get a Callahan in there. They managed to score right after the Callahan, despite the fact that the Stags had possession, called a timeout, put their offense back in. That was a huge turning point in the game. And we saw that very last point. Again, there was so much going on there. And here we'll get a look at a number of the first half highlights. That was a very first break. Patel did a very good job getting and staying in bounds on that catch. And here we see that incredible catch from Glazer. That the throw from Bayer, I just thought was going to sail way too far.
This was the layout grab for the second score by Smith. I don't think we've seen him come back into the game yet. He left, was clearly hurt, but then seemed to be getting at least a little bit better as he went back to the sideline.
Excellent throw from Sickles all the way downfield to Hiranet. His ability to track that disc, come down with it, was quite impressive. And here I think this is one of 2 goals that we saw from Casey in that same corner of the end zone. And, of course, the Callahan from Peck.
That's the difference right now. It's 7-6, and got to wonder, too, Portland had that chance with the first quarter time running down, and they did not get the score. But they are showing their long arms, definitely, in this one with all the blocks.
And even here on that point block on the mark, that was in a matter of extending out into space and making sure that you could get the play. Everybody running on the field there for the Callahan, even the coach is sprinting on the field. Sometimes you like to see a little more reserve from the coach, but you got to go with it and make sure that you're in tune with your team, so to speak. So you want to take that big run down the field, but then you got to compose yourself and make sure you're ready to call the next line. One of the things coming out of this first half is that Philadelphia has thrown 132 passes, completed them at 92.4%, and the Stags have thrown 96 passes at 88.5%. So the ability of both teams to complete their passes at a completely regular sort of rate is good overall, but the Stags were lagging as the game went on there.
We're going to step away here at the halftime score, 7-6, Philadelphia on top of Portland. Back here at Franklin Field at halftime, Spinners and the Stags, 7-6 the score in favor of the Spinners. Jeff Poster, Dusty Rhodes, and really for the Spinners has been a guy that we talked to in the pregame, part of that the Goon Squad, Jack Casey. He's been pretty good here for Philadelphia thus far as we take a look at what he's done tonight.
See, he's changed his hair from that profile picture there. A little more exciting here. But you see these plays where his teammates trust him to go up in the air and make plays on the disc into the end zone. It's just a matter of finding that athleticism, finding a way to use it, and trusting him to make the play. He elevated so well there. Jensen didn't have an opportunity as he was inside. He couldn't have gotten up that high. Rafi Hayes had a chance to get up that high, but was coming from far enough away that it was an irrelevant play on his part. The arc that Esser put on that sort of eliminated both defenders, and then Casey was able to make a play on his own.
We've talked about Rafi Hayes. He might not have gotten that one, but he has been very involved here tonight for the Stags. Let's take a look at some of the things that the 2016 Breakout Player of the Year, the young man Rafi Hayes for Portland.
And he does still have the same hair. It's just inside of a headband here and a little tied up. But his play today, he's been involved not just on these sort of scoring plays, but he's been involved during the center of the field for them.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of opportunities to survey, break down the play break down the mark with his throws, and challenge the downfield players to keep up with everyone.
Hayes has been good, as actually on cue he's getting the Breakout Player of the Year. There's the real award, though, the 2016 MLU Championship Trophy, the silver disc. As we will step away, we'll find out in 2 more quarters who will be claiming that prize.
The team dynamic is just to have as much fun as possible.
It's an experience, man. You turn around and you look and there's this big giant animal running towards you.
When I first started commentating, it was kind of tough for me because it's like, well, I can be out there too. I can play with these guys. Why am I up here in the booth?
Jeff Grant he's a fucking monster. He can sort of just do it all, you know?
A few of my students were like, we saw you on the bus. I was like, I don't ride the bus. No, you're on the side of the bus.
Back here again at Franklin Field on the campus of the University of Pennsylvania. Jeff Poster, Dusty Rhodes for MLU Live in the 2016 MLU Championship game. The Spinners and the Stags going toe-to-toe, 7-6 in favor of Philadelphia. And let's talk about the Spinners and what we talked before the game, what they had to do. And I mean, they must be doing it if they've got the lead here, right?
You would imagine so, but sometimes you have an ability to succeed despite what we say up here.
Right.
So 2 of these things are actually really key. Breaks go a long way. The Spinners are converting their break possessions at 60% right now. That's very high. Most teams are significantly lower than that. So they've managed to take advantage of their opportunities to break. And do not feed the Stags. They've given the Stags a number of break possession scoring opportunities, but the thing is, the Stags have not been converting on those opportunities. The Stags are only converting their break possessions at 28.6%. If the Stags aren't going to bother scoring those breaks, then the Spinners can toss the disc to them all day, and it won't make a difference. But for the most part, the resets have been clean. Nothing has gone through there for either team. But, at this point, the Spinners are ahead. They outscored them 4-1 in the second quarter, and they're ahead now.
And on the other side, Portland, they started off a little bit slow. They made a comeback, and then they really struggled in that second quarter. Have they done or what they will need to do, I guess, in the second half in order to get back into this.
Well, it's interesting. I think they stayed confident after that initial sort of press from the Spinners, and they got back into the game, but I don't think they were ready for that second quarter barrage that Philadelphia threw at them. Creating and controlling space, generally they're getting looks. They're not throwing into poaches. They're not throwing into muddled areas. It's more an issue of throwing turnovers deep or just having errors during the course of play close to the season. Disrupting handler motion, they've actually done a good job of that. They flushed Nick Kiernet all the way out of the handler space, but he ended up catching a goal on a guy who's much taller than him in McGinn. So their ability to disrupt the motion has worked, but the Spinners' second plan has been executed very well for their side. One other note is that the Spinners have 7 fouls so far. The Stags have 2 fouls so far. It's been a very different run of play for each team when they're on offense.
You hate to talk about a team that's not even in this game, but for the first time we've had a common opponent in Boston between these two teams. And I noticed, at least in that game that the Stags came out to Boston, they did actually outscore the Whitecaps 15-12 in the second half, and that could be something maybe we'd see in this second half if they can repeat that type of performance.
Well, what I would say is something that one of the Stags mentioned to us, I think it was Person, but I'm not entirely sure, is that after the first half, they realized that it wasn't just a matter of them playing for what they had. It was also a matter of them playing against the opponent that they had. So the halftime gave them a chance to regroup and then figure out how to attack their opponent. I would expect to see both teams' game plans change coming into the second half and have slightly different goals than they had coming into this game.
And we will see if they did indeed regroup here as they are at halftime. We're going to step away again, come back. Second half action coming up here at Franklin Field.
The team dynamic is just to have as much fun as possible.
It's an experience, man. You turn around and you look and there's this big giant animal running towards you.
When I first started commentating, it was kind of tough for me because it's like, well, I can be out there too. I can play with these guys. Why am I up here in the booth?
Jeff Grant he's a freaking monster. He can sort of just do it all, you know?
A few of my students were like, we saw you on the bus. I was like, I don't ride the bus. No, you're on the side of the bus.
Back here at Franklin Field, unfortunately some inclement weather has come in and we are in a delay. We are being asked to step away, but don't go anywhere. We will be back for the rest of this 2016 MLU Championship.
The weak shot. Fourth time we've seen a ball go off the head of Caitlin Kyle. '15th minute here at Camping World Stadium. Presley knocks a player down. Kyle was looking for the offside flag, very upset that she didn't get it. And another corner coming for Chicago.
I do think her and Tony are covering well for each other, so she definitely felt the girl behind her. And from my point of view, she did look a little